What is going on, everybody? This is your boy Warrior, and today I'm back at it again with my bullshit. But before I dive into all that, I do want to preface this video with the fact that I think racism is evil. I think it's horrible. I think sexism is horrible. I think it's evil. And if we lived in a perfect world, I believe those things wouldn't exist, and I believe they shouldn't exist. But we live in a pretty destroyed world where evil things happen like racism. So I understand that it does exist. I understand that racism is real. It still does happen in America. And I do also think that racism is evil and horrible. And I want to preface this video with that statement. All that being said, just because you're a liberal doesn't mean you're not racist. And it's not all liberals, it's not all people that tend to lean towards the left, but I've started to see a trend specifically on Twitter where people can hide behind their keyboards of liberal snowflake-like people pretending they're taking the moral high ground. They're claiming they're really awesome and tolerant, and then they say really intolerant, almost borderline racist things. And I've had the privilege of going to school in a really liberal area. So I get to see some of this Twitter crap unfold firsthand. And lucky enough for me, somebody knowing that I have a YouTube channel and stuff pushed me in the direction of some prime content. Now, I actually did go to high school with this girl, so just out of respect for her privacy and because I know her as a person, I don't hate her, I'm going to go ahead and blur out her name and her and that stuff so you guys can't track her down. If you did also go to high school with me, because I know there's a decent amount of people that watch my channel that did go to high school with me, so if you did go to high school with me and you know who this person is, I'm not giving you like an excuse to go harass her, so please don't harass her, and if you do, don't blame it on me, because I'm telling you not to. But let's dive into these tweets. Coming in first, we actually have one of the more tame tweets. This is like not that bad compared to the other ones. She almost made a correct statement. She said, America was literally founded on the oppression of black people, which was true. We did use slaves, and it was wrong. It was horrible. And then she says and continues to deny that oppression. That's wrong. We all admit that it happened. And if you disagree with me that people understand that it happened, it is literally in our history books. It's part of our curriculum as students in the public education system of the United States of America to learn about the oppression and the horrible things that happened specifically to people of African American descent. We learn about slavery. We learn about Jim Crow. We have an entire month dedicated to black history, okay? So we all know it happened. And then she says, white people, why can't you just respect the flag? Wah, racism isn't real. So two things here. One, I don't know of anybody that says racism isn't real. They might say it doesn't happen anymore in America today, and I would disagree with them, but I don't know anybody that says racism isn't real. Second thing is, I think you should respect the flag, just out of respect for our military and people that died for this country. But thirdly, I think I only said two things, but there is a third thing. She generalizes all white people. Like every single white person, she just put into one category, which is actually some pretty clear evidence for the fact racism does exist because she just categorized people by race. This is kind of awkward. Let's just, you know what? Let's move on to the next tweet. Oh, and actually also before we move on to the next tweet, who is retweeting and liking this? I know it's only 36 likes and only 4 retweets, but people had to consciously read that, digest it, and then click the retweet button. 4 people did that, and then 36 people did the same thing but with the like button. I don't understand. Let's just move on to the next tweet. Once again, this is one of the more tame tweets that she has, but it reads, I wonder how many people are going to be murdered by radicalized white boys before we acknowledge the far-right neo-Nazi ideology is a real threat in America today. Now, this is another one I could almost get behind. This is another tweet where she was just so close to being right. But then she had to go and mess it up. I don't know who is telling these little liberal Twitter kiddies that right-leaning people think racism doesn't exist and isn't an issue. Like, I would agree. Radicalized white neo-Nazis murdering people based on nothing but race, actually just murdering people in general, is wrong. It is 100% wrong. But we all know it's an issue, and we all wish it didn't happen. Like, we understand neo-Nazi ideology is not healthy for people. Like, nobody's disagreeing with you on that. Let's just move on to the next tweet, because I don't want to spend too much time on this one. But it's just another example of liberals thinking they're the only ones that understand what's going on, and they have the moral high ground, and nobody else does. This nice little bonanza of tweets I'm about to throw up on screen are just honestly a blatant call for violence. And it's almost just like receding the moral high ground. Because all it is a call for violence. It doesn't have a logical argument with it. It doesn't have a good reason. It's just, hey, I don't like what you're doing. I think you should be dead. Like, there's not much more else to it. You guys can read the tweets if you want, but I mean, they're pretty obvious. They say, hey, at ICE Gov, die bitch. The other one says, kill ICE now. and then it says everyone who works at ICE should be tried for crimes against humanity and hung. So they're just, calls for violence, which actually, when you think about it, is pretty average run-of-the-mill ideology when you're dealing with extremists. Which makes this super awkward again, because she was just complaining about violent extremists in her last tweet. So yeah, this is kind of getting awkward again. So let's just move on to the next tweet. This next one is just her being racist again and generalizing white people. No big deal. Just, pretty blatant categorizing of people based on race. So, let's just move on to the next tweet. It's nothing she hasn't done already. Actually, though, I do want to point out with this tweet, the only reason I take issue with it is because if I tweeted out, black people, stop going to KFC, I would get destroyed. I would be wiped off the face of Twitter. There would be nothing left of me, because that would be obviously like a racist thing to say. So it's still racist, even though she's doing it about white people. Just want to point that out. So in this tweet, we get to see her very tactfully take the moral high ground by just blatantly attacking people for committing the capital crime of disagreeing with the liberal politically. Now, before I read this tweet, I do want to say, despite the fact that I am right-leaning, or I guess as right-leaning as you can be for somebody who just got the right to vote not even a year ago, but I'm not a huge Trump fan, even though I'm right-leaning. I think he's done some pretty inappropriate things. But despite that, I don't think it's okay to attack people because they are on a different side of the political spectrum as you. This tweet reads, if you support Trump, not only are you morally depraved, you're also dumb as shit. It's just your basic run-of-the-mill liberals being intolerant of other viewpoints. So, I don't have much else to say about that tweet. Let's just move on to the next, the real juicy hunk of meat. This one she really took off the training wheels for, started cooking with gas. She goes, this tweet reads, all you white boys who think you're so cool and enlightened for being libertarians are just going to become just like your racist Fox News watching Republican grandpas when you're older. ... You're not special. Smiley face. Let's jump into this tweet. She just can't help herself but be racist. I don't understand how people can't see that this is racist. This doesn't have to do with politics, because she could have just said, all you libertarians think you're so cool, but you're just going to end up like your grandpas. No, that's not what she says. She says, all you white boys, which means she's categorizing people based off race, which is by definition racist. And to be honest, also sexist, because she doesn't just say all you white people, she specifically says white boys, and that was a choice, because she could have left that out. She intentionally said white boys. So she is categorizing people based off their gender and their race in this tweet. That is both sexist and racist. If you flip that tweet on its head and put any other people group in place for white boys, it would be considered racist. If I said something like, all you black boys think you're so cool and enlightened because you're Democrats, just that sentence alone, even if I don't tag it with anything else, just that sentence alone is horribly racist, because I'm categorizing black males just based on the fact that they're black males, and I'm making assumptions about their political affiliation and all that just because of their race. That would be a horribly racist thing to say, but she gets away with it because it's about white people? Nah, I don't think so. That's not how that works. Racism and divisive ideology is racist and divisive no matter which way you cut it, no matter which people group you say it about, it is morally wrong. So if you want to take the moral high ground, please be my guest, but actually take the moral high ground. If you want to talk about being the most tolerant person ever, that is fine with me. But then please be the most tolerant person ever. Please, by all means, take the moral high ground. Be the most tolerant person ever. But then just actually be the most tolerant person ever. That'd be cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little peek into my high school. That little peek into my past 4 years of life. That was fun, huh? If you guys did enjoy the video, though, if you did enjoy my reasoning or whatever, if you just liked the video in general, please hit that like button, that subscribe button. If you disagree with me, comment down below. Let me know what you think I got wrong. Feel free to tweet at my Twitter as well. Link to that for my channel will be in the description down below. But as for now, this is your boy War signing off, and see you guys next time. Peace.